to T-Boys TV. We are back again with the Hat Show, episode 290. And in this one, obviously, we will be talking about the defeat yesterday. I thought I'd get it just out of the way, seeing that we do the Hat Shows, obviously, on Fridays anyway. And then by the time we get into that Wickham game, that is next. We can just get straight into it. But it is just myself today. My dad is at a party tomorrow, so he's got to sort out the things because he's doing the DJ side of things. So it will be just myself today. So if the chat can be a bit more, not that you guys are not, but if you guys can ask me some questions, that'd be great as well. And we'll be a bit more interactive like we were in the Port Vale one preview, for example, and obviously a few others over the times we have done the Hat Show. But yeah, we'll go through the comments first. Big up to everyone inside. Do smash the like if you haven't already. Big up to Paul. He says, evening all. Luton poor. Yep, exactly, mate. Big up to Spencer. He says, hi all. Good to see you in here, Spencer, mate. Hope you're well yourself. Big up to Harry in the chat. He says, evening, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. All right. Big up to Ryan. He says, been here years. Yeah, shout out to Ryan. He was on the watch long yesterday. He was saying he's been a subscriber of T-Boys TV for many years. So big up to yourself, mate. Says, been here years, and I don't usually come live to Hat Shows, but watch them in videos. But last night was so bad tonight, I had to tune in. Well, I appreciate that, mate. Hopefully you tune in more going forward as well. But yeah, mate, it's one of them where, you know, as much as it's disappointing, I do like to do these streams straight after in a way because we can sit here and dissect the problems, which are many problems, but, you know, we can have an interactive conversation as well. And then Harry says, looking fresh, mate. Yeah, got my haircut today, mate. The camera don't do it well. Like, for example, on my phone, it looks better, but on the camera, it's still right. But yeah, I'm probably overthinking. I mean, let me know in the chat. I probably am, to be honest. But yeah, Jamie says I am. Well, anyway, going into the game. So obviously, me and my dad did a watch along. I actually said in the Discord group I'm in, obviously on the T-Boys TV group Discord, do join that if you haven't already. It is in the description, especially if you do use Discord. You know, I said in it, that is the worst lineup I've seen this season. And don't get me wrong, we've had awful lineups, you know, in terms of starting 11 this season. But that was the worst for me. And yes, Saville hasn't been on the greatest form, but I think when you compare him to a lot of the other players, he's been better. You know, the fact he wasn't in the starting 11 for me, especially with how he come on, was a bit of a joke, to be quite honest with you, because my problem is, yes, Lamine is a CDM, but since he's come in, we've seen him play as a cam. You know, we haven't seen him as a CDM. So on that basis, we have no defensive-minded midfielder for me. Now, going into it, I thought, just knowing how Luton are, they try and complicate players in formations over the last few years, as we know, putting players in positions that just doesn't work. I thought it'd be Clark and Lamine as the deeper ones. Thankfully, it wasn't. So it was Keeley in goal. Back four of Naismith, Anderson, Mengi, Longwick, Walsh and Lamine it was, which I felt was a bit better. But still, I'd have started Saville. Bramall, Cadeau on the right, Clark in the middle. No problem with that. Like I said in the match reaction, there's no problems with that whatsoever, that three. You know, that's probably the three I'd love to see. And then Wells up front. Now, you know, Wilshere has said, oh, Clark, you know, he needs to get into the swing of things. Clark was eager to play more. Obviously, Wilshere said that in the post-match, you know, so he took him off, rightly so. You know, he's getting a minute, so I get that side of things. But then players like Wells, who have been injured, who have recently come back, played less games than Clark since returning. Obviously, Clark's come back earlier, but the point still stands. The guy gets straight in the team and starts. Based on what? Been shocking. And he always used, I'm sorry, but he always used these big words for him. I mean, the Mansfield game, he said he was instrumental. Instrumental in what? Instrumental for Mansfield, mate. Yeah? And then he said he looked sharp against Port Vale. What? The guy's jogging. We need to press them, you know, when they've got the ball in their defensive area. Naki Wells is jogging. And you look at the goal Jordan Clark did score last night. That's where Wells should be in that type of position, but he wasn't. You know, Jordan Clark was there to latch onto it And yeah, I just don't get this hype that he sees in Naki Wells. And it's the same with Yates. I mean, Nordos, he said he's getting closer to the team, in terms of being in the lineup. Then he's not even in the lineup last night, not even in the flipping on the bench. I don't understand. Give the guy a chance, but we're not going to, like a lot of people have said, he'll be gone in January. And that's a player I don't want to see go. I don't think he's amazing, Nordos, in terms of like goal scoring. But I think what he brings is much more than what any of the other current strikers bring. Obviously, Elijah, when he's back, I expect him to be our best striker, even though he's been out for so long. It's not hard. It's not really hard to be, is it, really? But in terms of affecting and helping the other players, Nordos, I feel we can be very instrumental in that. And, if I'm him, I'm absolutely gutted because, this is only a little thing people might say, but like even when he come to Luton, he said like he enjoys the way like deliveries come early and stuff like that. Like he's settled basically into a new lifestyle, is what I'm trying to say. And we're just going to throw him out the door for what reason? Because you don't rate him. Yet the games you've put him in to start, he's done well. I'm talking about under Wilshere. I just don't get it. I really, really don't get it. Like, again, like I said, I don't think he's an amazing striker, but in comparison to the others, he's better. He's better than them. Let's be honest. I mean, when we signed him, I can't comment for you guys in the comments, but me and my dad was like based on his highlights. And again, you can't judge everything off highlights, but what we did see, because we're not liars. We don't sit here and say, "Oh, we watched the Norwegian league." No, we don't. I don't watch any league abroad, even La Liga. I don't watch it. Even if it's Barcelona, Real Madrid, I don't watch it. Yeah, the only time I watch them type of teams is Champions League. But the point is, yeah, I had to judge him off highlights because that's all I've seen. And we were saying he looks like a similar player to Elijah in terms of good at holding up the ball. And we know when Elijah first came in, he was a bit hit and miss at that. But also the facts like, he brings that element of helping other players. And again, it goes back to what we've said numerous times now. We need to play two up front, but we're not going to. I don't understand, why we keep persisting. And that formation doesn't help as well. That's another reason I thought that was the worst lineup. In terms of the players that are playing, like Wells, no Saville, people were happy to see Saville out. Me personally, I wasn't because he's our only defensive midfielder. Well, other than Lamine, but we play Lamine a bit higher, other than last night, which he didn't do too bad in the first half. I thought second half he faded a little bit. But the point stands, in terms of the one who's going to dig deep, him or Saville all day long for me. Yes, he gets yellow cards. I don't care. He gets stuck in. He is, for me, what we've been missing in midfield the last 2 years. Yes, I know he's not been the greatest recently, but when he first come to Luton, he was our best player for me. Especially them early on games. Obviously, he scored against Wigan. Did nearly score a great goal against Wimbledon on the opening day. We were struggling to have shots on target. And he was, when he was providing them and he was letting us have really good opportunities and he was getting unlucky. So for me, I didn't like that he weren't in the lineup last night. I've got to be honest with you guys, because the problem is, like I said, we've got 2 CDMs at the football club. Well, we got 3, Nakamba, but there's no point talking about him, is there? So, with all due respect, there's just no point anymore. So, I look at it and I go, well, why are we not using him? Why are we not playing Saville in this game? You're away from home. Go with the 4-1-4-1. Well, ideally I'd like 2. But I tried to make it a bit more realistic with a formation we have gone with under Wilshere. And a game we did win, by the way. And that was a 4-1-4-1 against Stockport. And don't get me wrong, like I've said loads of times, their first 15, 20 minutes, if Stockport had their shooting boots on, they'd have probably been about 2 or 3-0 up. Let's be honest. But, we did play well after that. You got to be honest, we did. And at the time, that was our best performance of the season because, with all due respect, I don't look at the Burton game because they were poor that day. They gave us the game. We didn't have to do much. And given how we felt going into that Stockport game as well, I know they had injuries leading up to the game, but still, I will give us credit in that. But I said at the time, and you guys will remember if you watch my match reaction, which I'm sure most of you did, I said at the time, I'm not going to get carried away because our problem is consistency. Yeah. And that's what annoys me, right? Even when under Bloomfield, We were getting a 1-0 win over Wigan. Did we have him when we beat Doncaster 1-0? I think we did. You know, them type of wins, we were lucky. They weren't like Nathan Jones wins where we were grinding out the result, like Blackpool away, for example. And again, I have to go back to that game because, you know, that was an example of the game I always refer to. You know, that digging deep, that spirit from Luton. Even this was many years ago. I think this might have been in COVID season when we beat Middlesbrough away 1-0. You know, which was a massive win for us to stay up in the end that season. You know, that type of performance. You know, I don't want to keep hearing all the fighting spirits there, rare tear. I said last week against Port Vale, there's only so many times you can keep trying to come back and it's not going to work. And then bang, it doesn't work the week after. You know, it's not good enough. There's only 4 or 5 players for me that can hold their head up high after last night. And that's Jordan Clark, George Saville. I actually thought he's really good when he come on. And he was trying to show why he should be in the team for me. Obviously, Morris. I know he didn't have the best of games, but he was still better than other players. Kadoa and Lamine. Is there anyone else? I don't know. I mean, I think they're the only ones for me. And Longwick and Bramall. You know, the others, poor. Anderson, I've said it for weeks now. If he does not win the ball aerially or is tight man marking a player, I don't know what he brings to our defence. And all this leadership that the Barnsley fans said. And again, he was brilliant at Barnsley, but we're not seeing it at Luton. And that's why we're getting frustrated because the guy's meant to be a captain. And don't get me wrong, it was always risky when we got him anyway, because he jumped straight from League One to the Premier League. That's, you know, he didn't even play in the Championship in terms of like, you know, when we got him to then come to the Prem. So that was always a risk. Naismith, we've got to be honest, we were happy when we signed him. Well, I'm not going to talk for everyone in the chat, but majority of us were, you know, because we thought it'd bring that leadership qualities that Wilshere keeps saying is the reason he's in the squad. I mean, it's the same situation as Naki Wells. It's took him an injury to not be in the side when they have been arguably the 2 worst players this season. You know, it's absolutely crazy to me. And I look at it and I think to myself, you know, if you're persisting with the same things, the same formation that hasn't been working, what's going on? And, you know, again, when we got Chris Powers in the system, I'm delighted about that because of his experience and know-how, but I'm not seeing it. Like, I know, obviously, Wilshere's the manager, so he doesn't want to take that aspect away and, you know, he wants his ideas. I get that. But I haven't seen that. And again, people might go, oh, it's happening in training. Well, first of all, you're not there, so you don't know unless you're in the know at the football club. And second of all, I don't give a shit what's happening on training. I give a shit about match day. Yeah, that's what I care about. I care about winning football games. I don't care about, oh, yeah, this is happening in training. Cool. I'll tell you what else is happening in training. Bare injuries. Yeah, which is not unlucky. It's not unlucky at this point because the amount of injuries we've had over the last 2 years is a fucking joke, to be quite honest with you. It don't matter what manager we've got, the same injuries occur. But anyway, back to my other point. I haven't seen his influence so far. I haven't seen him, like, surely he's won League One as a manager and player, Chris Powell, right? Experience with England, yes, I know obviously we lost and etc., but still got very far with Gareth Southgate in tournaments. For League One, he's experienced enough to be telling him what is what, recommending. I haven't seen none of that. I haven't, you know, and again, yes, they'll be saying stuff in the training ground, but I do not care. I want to see that implemented into the football team. Yeah. And another thing I don't understand is people going, you know, it's not you guys, it's people on Twitter and stuff like that. Obviously, there's loads of people angry like ourselves. You got a losing mentality if you're not angry, you know, and it's just poor, you know. But people are going, well, if you're slagging off the players, how's that going to help? Have you seen how much money they get a week for kicking a football around? Yeah, it's an absolute joke, mate. Most of these fans, no, I haven't because I can't be asked, but most of these fans paid all this money Like Mike, for example, regular on the channel, you guys know that. He goes every single game, mate, home or away. Even when we had pre-season in Germany, the Premier League season, he was there. Yeah, he was there. He pays all that money. Yeah, and the Barnsley game, he said to me the other week, he left at halftime. He went to the town centre. Yeah, we can sit there and criticise as long as it's not racist, homophobic, anything out of line like that. As long as it's constructive criticism, there's nothing wrong with it. We are football fans. We are going to be there when these players and managers, etc., are not there. We're there forever, mate. Yeah. And this is what winds me up, right? Gary Sweet is focusing on the football side of things and the stadium. No, it's one or the other, mate. You can't do both. And it annoys me because people go, oh, yeah, but he saved us in 2020. I don't give a shit, mate. This is here and now. He ain't saving us now, is he? We're going to be on a fucking downward spiral back to the National League. It's seriously a joke, mate. Our people are still sitting here accepting this. It's absolutely crazy to me. But we're going to go through the comments. So yeah, big up to everyone inside. There is a lot of comments. 25 people inside. Do smash a like, do subscribe, all of that, if you haven't already. To be honest, if you're referring to Liverpool, mate, I'm not really like, it's because my granddad, who I unfortunately never saw, was a Liverpool fan. I don't really like support them. I guess if Luton weren't a team, that's probably who I would, based on that. I've got Scouse family as well. But yeah, I'm not really bothered about them, to be honest, mate. I know back in the day I was a bit more interested, but I'm not really now. And when I was younger, Luton was my team anyway. Well, even though I weren't really into football, my dad tried to get me into Luton, and this shirt here was my first Luton shirt when I was 5 years old. So yeah, I'm more Luton, mate, to be quite honest with you. I agree. Savile was good when he come on. Yeah, and the thing is with Savile as well, excuse me, obviously he's more defensive minded, like I say. But obviously he was being told to, try and go for it. But he looked quite good going forward. I've got to be honest. I mean, I thought he was decent, to be honest. And he should be starting the next game. He should. He should be starting the next game. Simple as. I don't care if he's with Lamine or flipping, because it probably will be two, holding again. I don't mind if it's Walsh or Lamine. I don't care who it is, but Savile's got to be in there with him. He should have risked it, Wilshere, and kept Clark on because a lot of rest ain't great. Yeah, and again, going back to the losing mentality thing, if anyone should have that losing mentality, it should be Jordan Clark, because he's been there from the Premier League, from the Championship. He has suffered, unfortunately, but he's like our, most willing to go for it player alongside Bramall and Kadoa, I would say. They're probably the main three. It's just a joke, mate. I believe that the formation we're playing just doesn't suit this team. We need more of a back five formation or 4-3-3. Yeah, the thing is, mate, I totally agree, because, Wilshere was asked on Longwick the other day and he was like, yeah, he's playing in the right back role, a position he doesn't play, rare tear. And it's like, well, yeah, we all know that, but we've got to back him. Yeah, no one's not backing him. I don't understand this now. Where does this come from? When people are criticising that formation and playing players there, it's you, because you're the one doing it. And I don't get wrong, I actually think Longwick's been all right and right back, given it's not his main position. But like I've said many, many times, when we play the better teams, he will be exploited in that formation. Exact same how Makoso was against Stevenage, by the way, who had their best EFL season. He was exposed against them on that right-hand side. To be fair, he was even exposed there against Blackpool when we drew 2-2. So the same thing's going to happen there. Look, I wouldn't mind seeing Longwick on the left back, because he played there a few times for Huddersfield. But ideally, I'd like to see him centre back. But yeah, it just ain't going to work, mate. But yeah, 4-3-3 as well. Yeah, I totally agree, mate. It's basic formation. Like, this is what annoys me about football nowadays, right? They try and complicate things. Do you know what I mean? And the thing that annoys me as well is, yes, a lot of teams play one up front, but they play people out wide. We don't. We just play one and then the players behind. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's the left mid, the right mid, and the cam, or we've tried a few times, two cams behind a striker. No, we've got wingers. It's just, I don't get it. Even after the game on stream, I was watching it on, the interviewer said, The interview in Wilshere, he said the team was outstanding apart from the goals conceded. How? Insane what he said, like, geez. Yeah, I mean, he always uses these big words, and I get it. He's inexperienced in terms of a manager. He's still got a lot to learn. But this is where, for me, Chris Powell's got to be telling him what's what. And I'm just not seeing that. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, and you are seeing it. I'm not seeing it. But yeah, he always uses these big words. Like I said, he said Naki Wells was instrumental against Mansfield. I mean, if you watch that game, mate, he missed a penalty, which was a poor penalty, and he basically assisted them for a goal. And then against Port Vale, he said he was sharp. Sharp. The guy had 3-4 touches on the pitch. Sharp? Come on, man. Be serious. So yeah, that's how I see it. Are you referring to Saville there? I'm guessing you're referring to Saville. Ryan says, Tyler, out of anyone in the last 5 years, do any of these players get in your first 11? I'd probably give Jordan Clark in it. Bramall, as much as he's been good, I need to see more. But yeah, I'd probably only say Jordan Clark, mate, to be quite honest with you. I mean, is there anyone for you? I can only think of Jordan Clark. We said it a lot to each other, mate. Makoso should be in the back with Mengi, but it's clearly he's probably off in January. Naismith getting injured last night and didn't come on at all, said it all. Yep, totally agree, mate. But yeah, apparently Makoso wants out. Well, my problem with that is, okay, if the player don't want to be there, totally get that. You're not going to play him. But why is he on the bench? Don't put him on the bench. Put Chigoze or another youngster on the bench. If you ain't got any other defenders, because that's what I'm basing it off. We ain't got any other defenders. Bring through a young player, Chigoze. I mean, when Chigoze has played twice this season, Coventry in the Cup, and I can't remember the other game, but he's done well. He's done well. I'm not saying start him. I'm saying put him on. You broke Nelson through. That ain't worked. He needs to be loaned out. I've already said that. He needs to be loaned out. He's been here since the Premier League now. He's not done nothing. I'm sorry. Let's just be real with it. He's not done nothing. He scored one good goal against QPR in the Cup, which we lost anyway. And then that's it. He hasn't done anything else. I mean, that corner, I didn't even mention it in the match reaction yesterday. Sorry, not that corner, that set piece he took. Awful. Why is he taking it? He shouldn't be taking it anyway. I don't understand the point in bringing him on either, to be quite honest here. It's just, yeah, it's crazy to me. Big up to Ed in the chat. He says, hi, Ty. Formation's important, I get that, but it's not the ultimate answer. Exactly, mate. And when we keep persisting with the same rubbish, what do we expect to change? Do you know what I mean? It's so bad. We have wage leechers at the football club who just haven't put in the effort from August the 1st. Totally agree, mate. I also totally agree with you there. You're spot on. You're spot on. And I think Wells is one of them players because the guy's sitting there jogging. He was poor last night yet again. He had that one shot, but even then that was awful. For a striker, I think even the commentator said it on what I was watching it on. He said the shot was poor and all. It's just, yeah. I think with Chris Powell, he's possibly worried on stepping on Wilshere's toes by saying what to do, potentially. Maybe not, but it's a possibility. Possibly, mate, but my problem with that is you're the experienced guy. You should have the bollocks to be telling him what's what. And again, he might be in the training, but we're not seeing that. We only ever see pictures, of like stuff in training. Like, for them people who went to the content day, I didn't go to it, didn't get invited for whatever reason. But apparently the next one, they're going to be interviewing players. Well, how about let the people go to the training session for one day and see what's going on? I'd love to know what is going on in training because the fact we get all these injuries, I don't understand. Yeah, I really, really don't understand. It's not unlucky because the amount we've had is just ridiculous. And, they say, oh, they're doing these things in training. Yeah, but when it comes to a match day, they're doing nothing, half of them. It's just a joke, mate. So, yeah. Ed says, it's an absolute disgrace how far we've fallen. 2 successive relegation, just pathetic. Exactly, mate. Exactly. Totally agree. Oh, mate, I don't know. I honestly think they're going to back him. Until the end of the season. You've got, for me, you have, even though I don't trust our recruitment team at all, like in terms of the players last year in January, like I'm basing this on the January windows, I thought they'd done all right, but it's too little too late. But the year before that, the Premier League, you need as many bodies as possible because you haven't got the financial power of Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, even the teams that are like mid-table, so you need as many bodies as possible. What do? We get Hashioka, yeah, poor. I mean, we all remember his game against Bournemouth, right? And then you look at Tom Holmes, we get Tom Holmes in to then loan him back out to Reading. And then we do the same with Taylor Norris. I mean, I can't remember if we got anyone else in January. I think that's probably it in the Premier League season. I just don't trust them to get the players in. And I don't want to get Arsenal youngsters or just young players. No, we need people that know the EFL, mate. Yeah, that's why I want to get a right back, experienced right back. Because Real Waters, he's still got a lot to learn. I don't think he's the answer. I really, really don't. I mean, he was getting a lot of criticism at the start of the season as well. So I just don't think he's the answer, mate. I think he's good going forward, but defensively, what he actually is a right back. Honestly, even though it's not Hakeem's main position, I'd rather see Hakeem as a right back than Real Waters, to be honest, when he's back, obviously. Big up to Steve. He says, evening, mate. Still got playoff chances. Big up, fella. Yeah, big up to yourself, Steve, mate. Obviously, a West Ham fan, as you guys can see. I don't think we will, unfortunately, mate. Look, like you say, we definitely still have a chance, but like I said yesterday, mate, I wouldn't even want us to get playoffs right now because I wouldn't be confident of winning them. And that's the thing. Like, usually, if you finish lower in terms of the playoff spots, you don't really win them, do you? It's really third or fourth. So, yeah. Got to get rid of 70% of those players that don't want to play here, only here for the money, says Ben. Easy money. It ain't ever been through managers' faults. It's the players always said that. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I don't think it makes a difference what manager we have. However, Wilshere can still be criticised because he's playing the same formations that are not working. I don't. Why do we think this is going to not you guys, but why does he think this is going to drastically change playing the same crap? It doesn't matter who you put there. One striker is pathetic. If you had one striker and, a left winger or right winger, it might be all right. Like a 4-3-3, like mentioned earlier. But if you play like that, it's not going to make a difference. Tyler, we have been so poor this season. I'm saying this again. Change how we play before it's too late. Exactly, mate. And we're going to keep persisting with the same thing, and it is going to be too late. I mean, we're lucky. I said it yesterday anyway. We're lucky this league is awful. Like, it's crap. We ain't going down because the league's just rubbish. But we ain't going up. And we'll probably finish mid-table, I'd say, right now. But, we haven't been good all season, mate. I mean, for me, I'd only say we've had 2 good performances. Like I said, I don't count the Burton game because they were poor. I've got to be honest. Other than Charlie Webster, they were poor against us. And then the Stockport game, we were good after the first, 15, 20 minutes. I will give us credit there. And only because we put out a second team and it was a team in our division, I thought the Exeter game in the Cup was good. Just on the basis of, yes, I know Exeter are up down there, but you look at when we played Forest Green in the FA Cup, we were lucky. We were lucky, and they're a National League side. So they're the only games I give us credit in terms of, when we've done well. But the other games, yeah, I've got to agree, mate, been absolutely dire. I already know which manager is perfect for Luton right now, and that's Gary Bowyer, says Harry. Takes no nonsense and plays proper football. If it weren't for him, Burton would be in the mud right now. Yep, obviously Burton's manager. I believe. Yeah, I think he is, isn't he? With the players Luton have, which is a massive upgrade, it thrive in that team, says Harry. I want... okay, that's an interesting one. Yeah, this league is rubbish, exactly. Compared to the Championship, it's a huge league down. Yeah, exactly. And it's like my dad said yesterday, if we were in the Championship, we'd be in the bottom. We'd be at the bottom. I totally agree with him. Actually, we might be 23rd because Sheffield Wednesday have got points deductions. But we'd be right down there, and I totally agree. It's poor, mate. It's absolutely poor. And this is what annoys me, right? I weren't, and you guys would have seen my reaction after Port Vale. I weren't actually that annoyed, because I half expect this now. and also the fact Port Vale definitely didn't deserve to lose that game. Nah, you know what I mean? I shouldn't be saying things like that, especially at home, but yeah, it's just poor, mate. We're just so inconsistent, and you got to be consistent, to do stuff, and we're not. So yeah, no faith, mate. No faith. The faith is gone, mate. Yeah, it's been gone for time. To be quite honest with you, the team are a bit rubbish. The manager's rubbish. The league's rubbish. Some of the teams are rubbish. We're sadly becoming a husband to this poor wife. In brackets, League One. Yeah, facts, mate. Total facts. But yeah, back onto the game. Not that we really want to talk about that. But yeah, I thought Reading started off well. I thought they were the better team. They had an early moment before the penalty. The penalty, yes, Keeley's moved his gloves away, but still, when you go in like that, when you come out like that, it's always going to be a penalty. And it was. And good penalty from Wing. Obviously, he's a very experienced player for them. Good penalty, sent Keeley the wrong way. And yeah, from that moment in, you're like, wow, this is going to be a long evening already. 8 minutes in. And then we obviously take Naismith off. Again, like I've said, it's took him an injury to not be in this team, which is just a joke. He shouldn't be in the team anyway. I mean, say what you want about Matt Bloomfield, but at least he dropped him. At least he dropped Naismith, and it worked. That Middlesbrough game, I know we didn't win it, but obviously he dropped him. That was the game he come back in after the Burnley suspension, and we got a clean sheet. We should have won the game, but their keeper, Mark Travers, who we were looking at before we got Kaminsky, I remember, done really well. So you can't moan at defence in that type of game, and he dropped him. So I just don't. This leadership quality is nonsense. I mean, you saw the armband go round last night as well. I mean, that was interesting because you see what our leadership group is. Walsh, for me, should never be having that armband. I just think his discipline's awful. He's not a captain. Obviously, Clark had it originally, like after Naismith. I don't know who had it after Clark. If anyone knows in the chat, please do let me know because I'm curious and I couldn't really tell. I weren't sure if it's Jacob Brown. Again, I don't really know how to feel about that. I would have personally given it to Saville. And I don't care that he's just joined. I don't like that narrative just because he's joined. I don't care. Shows more fight than half the other players. So yeah, if anyone knows, let me know. But yeah, we had a few chances in the first half. And what really annoyed me is Reading had 2 shots, 1 on target, which was obviously the penalty. We had 5 shots, 2 on target. So we've actually had more shots than the home team and not scored in the first half. I mean, Bramall was unlucky with his effort. But Wells, that was poor. And then our closest chance overall was probably the own goal. Well, the nearly own goal, shall I say, that they got. I mean, yeah. And even when Morris come on, I don't feel that benefited Bramall. And the reason I say that, obviously, he got moved to left back. And he just weren't the same player for me, unfortunately. I thought he did struggle a little bit, I've got to be honest. I mean, after that. And then going into the second half, Jack Marriott scores. So finally a former player scores against us. Like I said in the match reaction, obviously we've played a lot of former players. Sonny Bradley, James Collins, Joe Taylor, McAtee. Finally, one of them scores. Marriott, great finish. Don't know what Mengi was doing. I don't blame Mengi for the first goal, by the way, because I actually thought he'd done all right on the first goal, but Keeley just fucked it up, let's be honest. But yeah, Mengi on that second goal, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was trying to pass it, clear it, whatever he was doing was stupid. But again, I don't feel we was as bad as the other centre backs, Anderson and, well, even though they weren't playing centre back, Naismith, until he obviously come off. And again, we were trying them long balls, wasn't working. Mengi tried it in the first half, didn't work. Naismith tried it in the first half, didn't work. It was really annoying. And another thing that annoyed me in the first half as well was the fact Jordan Clark was higher up than Nahki Wells at points. Why? Nahki Wells is a striker. What are you doing, mate? I just don't get what he brings. I really, really don't. But yeah, they go 2-0 and you're thinking, wow, we're going to have to try and fight back again. Which we did. We did. Jordan Clark with the goal. Again, like I said, in a position a striker should be in. But yeah, nothing away from the finish. He was alert. He got onto it. Fair play to him. Then we brought on Yates, didn't really do much. Then we brought on Brown, didn't really do much, if we're being honest. And then we get an equaliser, Longwick, great finish, brilliant finish, in fact. And then I don't know what it is, and I said it in the match reaction. I don't know if the players get too nervy, and they just get a bit too complacent. But we've done this every single season now in at least one game in that season, whether that's been from the Premier League to the Championship to now, and that's concede straight away. I mean, we've done it in the Premier League against Burnley when Reece Burke was playing left centre-back, which was absolutely criminal. Then we done it last year. I think it was a home game. I think it was against QPR on that Friday night game, if I remember rightly. And then obviously we've done it in League One now. And surprise, surprise, it was their striker who the Reading fans were criticising going into the game, who only has 2 goals in the league. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. But the goal, I mean, like I said, Bramall weren't great when he got played into left back. Half-hearted header. But I'm also going to criticise Anderson in that, because where are you, mate? Where are you? And again, it goes back to what I say. If he's not winning the ball aerially with his head, or man marking a player, tight man marking, like he did with Joe Taylor and done well when Joe Taylor come on when we played Huddersfield. Our last win, by the way, in the league. Yeah. I don't know what he brings to the team. Shocking yet again. Absolutely shocking. We should be looking to get rid of him in the summer. I don't think we will in January. We've got to get rid of him now, because this leadership that he had at Barnsley, we're not seeing it here. We're not seeing it, and it's just poor. So, yeah, 3-2. And from that moment in, we were trying too hard. Yet again, similar to the Port Vale game. Thought Morris weren't great in the game. Like, he was better than other players, but he weren't great. I mean, he had that moment, didn't he, where Kadoa probably would have got onto the header. But it was good defending. And then Morris had the chance after. Should have played it across towards the penalty spot. I think Saville was there for a shot. And Saville was really good when he come on. Fair play to him, because, you know, especially if people criticising him going into the game, seeing him glad that he's not started. I weren't one of them, because I just feel he brings that stability. Yes, he gets yellow cards, but I don't care. He gets stuck in. I don't care if he gets the yellow card, to be quite honest with you. I'd rather we have someone who fights, or, you know, not literally, like Liam Walsh, get a red card. You know, it's just, no. I don't understand it. I really, really don't. But for me, in terms of me trying to be realistic, in terms of the formation we should play, and we have played under Wilshere, 4-1-4-1. We played it against Stockport. We won the game. No, we had Saville in his own role. People are saying Walsh and Saville isn't working. So let's put Saville as that one, and then put Walsh higher, or put him to the bench and bring him on. You know, we need to get a CDM for me. It's not a priority, like left back and right back and creative midfielder for me, but we need to get one, because we're not playing Lamine there, and the Camber's on the way out, whether that's in the summer or January. So we need to get someone. We need to get someone as another option, not a starter, but we need to get someone else, because I don't like seeing attacking midfielders like Walsh and Clark there. I don't like it. It's silly. I'm sorry, it's silly. It's ridiculous. Especially Walsh, a player who we know is disciplined, is poor. I don't like seeing it. But yeah, we obviously went on to lose the game. We brought on Nelson. Like I say, he was poor. He needs a loan move out for me in January. And I don't care where he goes. Even if it's lower league, like Phillips, I do not care. He needs a loan move out, because he's not, like I said, he's had enough chances now. He's been here since the Premier League, guys. Like, we can't. And what annoys me is, you know, whoever the Luton admin is on Twitter sits there and goes, he's one of our own. He's not. Come through Tottenham's academy. Stop lying to yourself. Do you know what I mean? Where are you getting that from? He come through Tottenham's academy. It's not ours, is it? I don't like that. Don't lie. Why are you lying for? Why are you lying for? You know what I mean? It's stupid. Shut the fuck up. I don't give a shit. He's been crap. He scored one good goal. That's it. And I'm sick of this it's a young team. You've got to back them. No, because our young players are quite experienced. Keeley played X amount of games in League One last year. I know he's injured at the moment. I'm not blaming him. But Richards played a lot of games for Exeter. And Nelson's been in the squad since the fucking Premier League. So where is this bullshit? We're the 14th team on youngest squad in the league. 14th, mate. Yeah? It's fucking below mid-table. Where are we getting that narrative from? It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. We've got Naismith. We've got Saville. And I'm not criticising Saville, by the way. I'm just saying they're more experienced players. We've got Naki Wells. With Jerry Yates. Yeah, they're all old enough players. Jordan Clark. Stop this bullshit. Stop lying. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of how discreet we are as a football club. Like, for me, a journalist or fans should be trying to get the journalists that ask the pre-match press conferences what's going on with Makoso. Because, like I say, I'm hearing rumours he don't want to be at the football club, but I want to hear what they've got to say. Because if he don't want to be at the football club, why is he still in the matchday squads? I don't understand. What is the point of having him in the matchday squads if he does not want to be at his football club? Yeah? Bring through a young defender on the bench, like Chigoze, someone like that, who you have brung through. Even the young defenders that have played in the cup games, Evans, put him on the bench. I'm not saying you have to bring him on. You know, Fox, put him on the bench. There's things you can do. You know, we need to start asking these questions because people rate him highly, you know, and people loved him last season when he come in that Watford game. You know, let's be honest, if he didn't come in that Watford game, he'd have probably been similar to like Pebble, obviously different positions, but I mean in terms of not seeing them actually play for us. You know, but it was because Naismith and McGuinness, I believe it was injured in that Watford game. Makoso got the chance, done pretty well. Him and Nasai Jones, the only good players in that Derby Day defeat. And then he goes into that home game, I can't remember who it's against, we won the game, kissed the badge. And that just got fans on board. And we need someone who's got a bit of that determination right now. You know, so that's what I've got to say on it. It just frustrates me, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, we'll go through some more comments. Big up to everyone commenting inside. The armband is scarred. It's now become a joke in this football club. Yeah, the only reason I was interested to see it go round is just so I know like who the leadership group was in terms of the options. That was the only reason, mate. It was Brown, I think. Yeah, like I said, I think it was. I couldn't really tell. Big up to Ryan as well. Ryan has these like things where he says about the channel progression, man. So big up to yourself. He says 25 on. Obviously right now. So yeah, big up to everyone inside. Do smash a like. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This channel has gained ever since. I remember having 3 people in the Hat Show. Yeah, real talk, mate. Do you know what I mean? And 9 in a live stream of a match. Exactly, mate. So big up to everyone that tunes in. You know, I know a lot of people watch me outside and probably go on here that don't even like me. But to be honest, I don't give a shit. I'll say my opinion how it is. If you don't like my opinion, jog on. You don't have to watch me. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not forcing you to watch me. But yeah, big up to yourself, Ryan, mate. If you are an OG, big up to everyone else inside as well. Reading are such a diabolical club right now. Owners want the club to be extinct. Players don't care for them. Fans just leave empty stands. Guess what? We lose to them. Classic Luton, same old team. Yeah, exactly, mate. And the problem is as well, is none of our sets of fans really were confident going into this game, whether that was their fans or our fans. So that's why when me and my dad were doing a preview, we said it's got draw written all over it. You know, it's that type of game you look at as well, especially as a neutral. I'd have even looked at this game and gone, this is a shit game. Like, on a Thursday night, this is poor. And also, I have watched a lot of the Thursday games this year in League One, and they have been draws, whether it's been 0-0, Port Vale, Cardiff, Rotherham, who was it? Rotherham, Bradford, 2-2. You know, I thought it'd be a draw on that basis. I know it's like weird thing to say, but just based on how the former games have been, you know, it's one of them, to be honest. Hi, Ty. Jackie says, terrible. It's depressing. Exactly. What's crazy as well is that win against Exeter in the League Cup game. Excuse me. Barely any of them are to be seen. Like Joe Johnson, Nordos, and Nakamba. Well, Nakamba's gone back out to Zimbabwe. Don't know why, but terminate his contract. Just terminate his contract. And again, it's nothing against him because I know we don't really want him. But like I said, he is going to be a difficult one to get rid of. But at this rate, just terminate the contract, let him be a free agent. Because I don't know if who goes for him unless it's closer to home. Because the problem with him, he is going to be hard to sell if we don't just terminate the contract because he is his injury record's quite poor. He's obviously a bit older as well. You know, he's not really an attractive footballer for opposition to look at. Whereas someone like Nordos, he can easily go back closer to home or even, you know, in his home country, which is obviously Norway. So, yeah, but Joe Johnson, he should be getting a chance now. You know, my dad's not obviously on tonight, but he's obviously a big fan of Joe Johnson, always has been. And the thing is as well, Johnson has said he's got high aspirations. I think that's the word. He said he wants to play. Obviously, he's not going to do it with us. But he said he wants to play in the Champions League. So if he wants to play that level of football, play him in. You know, he's got a point to prove in that scenario. So play him. I totally agree. I mean, me personally, if we don't put Longwick as left back, which I don't think we will anytime soon, put Johnson left back, put Bramwell higher again. That's what I would do with Naismith being out. Don't wish injuries on players, but it's stupid that it's took him an injury to not be in the side, same as Naki Wells. I'm not happy with Yates or Wells either. No, totally agree, Jackie. Why do we still, I think you meant to put, insist on pumping the ball up front if by some miracle, if they do get their target? Exactly, to someone like Wells, who's not even tall. I don't understand it, mate. Yates and Brown and Wells useless. Put Nordos on and Kabode on. Yeah, I mean, there was a few people saying Kabode, obviously yourself as well. At this rate, yeah. I feel sorry for Kabode because obviously Bloomfield or all the recruitment team, either way, it wasn't Wilshere that was, you know, because we didn't have Wilshere at the time. I just don't think Wilshere wants him. Unfortunately, you know, I'm not as itching to see Kabode as like Nordos, but I can hear what you're saying, to be honest. And he's another one of them direct wingers we've got in terms of like they'll just go forward and try and take on their man. So I do definitely hear what you're saying there. If Makose doesn't want, yeah, totally, mate. I totally agree. I just don't get why he's in the matchday squad if we're not going to play him. Makes no sense. Exactly. Bring in the youth. They will play for the honour, pride, and love of this club, not the money. Exactly. And the thing is as well, like, people might say it's a risk, but two things I've got to say. We're so adamant on bringing youth players through. You know, we've done it with Johnson, Nelson, a little bit Chigoze. I want to see more of Chigoze. And like you say, the fact that they've, well, I said it earlier as well, they got a point to prove, like in terms of they'll want to show why they're that guy, like that guy, if you get what I'm saying. Like, so yeah, we got to give them a go, mate. It can't do any worse, can they? Really? Marriott is probably a striker that's better than Yates and Wells, which is insane. No, yeah, totally agree, mate. Totally agree, especially on form. There's no debate, and he's only just come back as well. Yates, who should be banging in goals for fun in this league. Yeah, exactly. Like, what I will say, as much as I've been disappointed, like, massively with Wells and Yates, at the same time, this one up front, that's not beneficial because we're trying to lump the balls up to him. But what I can criticise him in, and what I totally agree with everyone else with, and I've said it myself, when they get the chances, they're not burying them. And Nordos isn't exactly a 10 out of 10, you know, finisher, but he has shown in games when he has played, he will take that opportunity. Yes, he's missed some, like the Blackpool game, that corner. But like the Exeter game, bang, scored a header, scored again. You know, missed the initial shot, scored again. You know, so it's just ridiculous, mate. It's just ridiculous. Like, it's just, yeah, it's poor. But I always go back to Yates in particular. I mean, that season at Blackpool, 14 goals in the team that finished 14th. 14 goals in a team that finished 23rd. Because I said 14 already. So, yeah. Unfortunately for this group and manager, this fan base won't take any sort of shit. And if we see something wrong, we'll point it out straight away. We were in the non-league for 10 years. Yeah, talk about the non-league, the conference days, right? obviously my dad after the stream, he was saying, because obviously, we see the fans, the fan punch the other fan. And he was saying, I haven't seen anything like that since the conference. Obviously, as you would expect, because we've been on the rise since then. But like, this is before obviously John Still come in. Obviously, I was younger, so I can't really say what much in comparison to a lot of you guys as well. But I mean, that says something. That says something. And if we're not careful, we can really slip down again. And not this season because I just don't rate the league, but this is the problem. Gary Sweet and that they're focusing on the stadium. Why? The stadium's done now. Like in terms of we've got all the paperwork, the go ahead, etc. Get the people to do that. You're brushing away the football side of things, and that is killing us as a football club. Yes, it'll be great when it comes in. It's going to be much easier to get to, etc. I get all of that. I totally get all of that. But like I say, you're brushing away the football side of things, and fans are going to turn. And we are going to end up like teams like Reading, have a stadium like that and not be able to fill it. Maybe not like I expect us to have more than them because, let's be honest, their away day, if you've ever been, is probably one of the worst. But we could be similar with loads of empty seats. So we need to be careful, man. We really need to be careful. But it just annoys me because they say they're Luton fans, etc. All this, like Gary Sweet and all that. Well, show it. Show it, mate. Just show it. So, yeah, it's just frustrating, man. It's absolutely frustrating. And, it's just got to that point now where we're all sitting here and just saying the same thing over and over and over again. And it's just like, I just don't see when it's going to change. It certainly ain't going to change this season. So, yeah, that's how I see it. Harry says, one thing I will say is that Luton fan who punched the other fan is an idiot. Just because he's not happy and talking to the players about how unhappy he is about the performance, it's not needed. Yeah, again, the reason I haven't really spoke on it is because I don't actually know what the fan said to Bramall. And fair play to Bramall and Mengi for coming out, especially Mengi as well, because Mengi was poor, whereas Bramall was one of the better players. I thought Mengi was all right in the first half, but in terms of the overall game, obviously the second goal was well poor. But, massive shout out to them for coming over. But to me, if he's saying to Bramall, what the fuck's the other team doing, basically, like the rest of the team, nothing wrong with that. But if he's sitting there criticising Bramall, yeah, that's harsh for me. Because Bramall's been one of our better players. But again, I don't know what was said. But either way, that does not, a fan should not be punching him. That's just ridiculous. And I've seen people going, oh, Tin Pot, that's Tin Pot fighting each other. Okay, cool. Well, West Ham are Tin Pot club because their fans fought each other in a friendly game when we drew 1-1 with them. I was at that game. Their fans had a fight in a friendly. Are they Tin Pot? No, they're not. But that's idiots on social media anyway, who just chat bollocks. So, yeah, but either way, you shouldn't be punching him. That's just ridiculous. And I don't want to, say this. Well, I am going to say this. That Luton fan who punched him is lucky the guy, obviously he turned back and he was like, do you know what I mean? But, if that was other people, that could have turned really nasty. So, he's also lucky that didn't happen. Yeah, told you, mate, probably wouldn't. Truth, some people are idiots because they take stuff too far. Love of the game's massive. Using another person to hold other level. Exactly, mate. But yeah, we've still got to do the player ratings, guys. So this is going to be fun. So let's get into the player ratings for this game. No man of the match, as expected. Even though there was some good players for us, only a few. I'm not going to give one. So, yeah, Keeley in goal. I mean, poor performance. Poor performance from him. We've got to be honest, guys. Poor from him. He got very low rating on flash scores. He actually got a 4.9. I'm going to give him a 4. I am actually going to give him a 4. I mean, the goal, the first goal, poor. He did nearly get a touch on the second goal, but it weren't great. And even the third goal, a few people said stuff about the third goal, and I know Bramwell with a half-hearted header and Anderson. But the way he come out, it was a bit risky for me, and it gave the guy an opportunity. So, yeah, I will give him a 4, actually, to be honest with you. Ben has gone 5.5. Jackie's gone with a 2. Do not blame you at all, Jackie. And Harry's gone with 4 as well. Moving on to Longwick. You know what? He was actually one of the better players, despite playing in a position I don't want to see him playing. I'd say he has been all right there, given it's not his position. But like I say, when we play the better teams, he will be exploited there like Makosa was. So, yeah, for me, great finish. But, yeah, do you know what? I'll give him a 7. I will give him a 7 because, like I say, it's not his position. And he did score a great goal. And I can't really think of him actually really being at fault for any of the goals. Maybe could say the third goal, like him and Anderson, maybe, but I'll blame Anderson more, to be honest with you. So, yeah. Jackie's gone 7. Ben has said 6. Longwick 6 because of the goal. Yeah, exactly. That does get his rating up a little bit. Moving on to Mengi. Again, I actually thought Mengi was good in the first half, but second half dropped off. I don't blame him for the first goal. I thought he actually done all right, but Keeley, I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, as the second half went on, he weren't so great. Obviously, he had that moment for the second goal. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he went in January. Me and my dad did say that a while ago. I feel we can play at a higher level, definitely. And I still stand by it on form. Like, when he's on form, he's our best defender. Especially in terms of whether we play a back 3 or back 4, because he can play anywhere. In terms of, like, centrally. Like, he can play left centre-back, through the middle, right centre-back. And then, obviously, the 2 centre-back positions, like, in a 4. So, yeah, for me, I will give him I'll give him a 6, because I thought there were good moments, but then not great moments. So, yeah, that's what I'll give him. Already read that one. Jackie says 6 for Mengi. Harry's gone 5.5, which is fair enough. Ben's gone 6.5. Moving on to Anderson. Poor, absolutely poor. Don't know what he brings to the team. If I'm going to be honest, like I say, if he's not winning the ball airily, I don't know what he brings to the team. So, or man marking a player. So for me, I'm going to give him a 5.5, to be quite honest with you. He could even go lower like Ben has with a 5. Harry also says, just expect him to be the boss of that back line, especially seeing how he's played at other clubs. So I'm being harsh. No, you're not being harsh, mate. You're just being realistic. Obviously you see him at Birmingham once upon a time as well. Ironically, when Birmingham beat us 3-0. So yeah. That's great, isn't it? Anderson 2. Again, Jackie, cannot blame you. And Harry's gone with a 4. Spencer's gone 3. I'm not sure if... Did you watch the game, Spencer? Did you watch the game, mate? Do let me know. It was, well, either that or Crystal Palace. I reckon you'd have been watching. But yeah, Naismith, left back. I'll give him a 6 because obviously he come off in the first half. But even before then, I don't think it's great. Tried a long pass, didn't really work. And yeah, you worry when he gets on the ball because sometimes he'll take these extra touches and it's just like, what is he doing? But yeah, because of the time he come off, I'll just give him a 6. But yeah, again, I don't wish injuries on players, but it's going to be interesting to see who plays left back on Boxing Day. I don't expect him to be back by then. And if he is, then he's going to come straight back into the team. But like I say, I'd like to see if we stick with a back 4, which I think we will. I think we'll play the same formation. I'd like to see Johnson there or Longwick there. And hopefully we've got like Hakeem back and then we can put Hakeem on the right. But I don't know. I can't remember how far away Hakeem is or set to be. So yeah. Naismith 4, says Harry. Jackie's gone with 2. Ben has gone with a 6. I did both Crystal Palace game as well. Oh, okay, so you got 2 screens to have a little look on. Nice. Or maybe a phone and a TV. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. What was the Crystal Palace score at the end? Did they lose? I'm going to have a little quick look at that. Sorry, chat. I'm just interested to know because I did see they were losing. 2-2. Okay, do 2-2 in here. And they're at home. I don't even know who that team is. But yeah, looking back at it now, really should have tried everything possible to keep hold of McGuinness. Yeah, I mean, the thing with McGuinness is obviously it's right at the end. We were actually live when that come out. I mean, if a really good offer come in, then for me, we can't really turn it down. But no, Luton, it's probably a shite offer. And yeah, he probably went for cheap. Jackie says draw. Yeah, 2-2. Yeah. I just see that. Cheers, guys. Moving on to Lamine. First off, I actually thought Lamine was really good. I actually thought he was really good. I thought, he was getting stuck in. There was a couple of loose passes to him, but he done well to actually get out of the positions at points. And yeah, I thought he was decent, to be honest. But second half, similar to Mengi, dropped off. So I guess I will give Lamine a 6. So yeah, what have Luton just posted? Oh, I think one of our young players has 1 goal in a month. Maybe the overhead kick goal against Watford. Maybe. I don't know. I can't even be asked to look properly at it. Spencer says Desmond. It was, yeah, just see. Ben says, for me, it all went downhill when McGuinness went. Yeah, I mean, it's quite ironic because me and Jamie went to the Barnet game. And this is the poster. Obviously, I've covered it with pictures of me and players and things. But that there is obviously me and a mascot, but behind it, it's McGuinness. So we had to cover it up straight away. So we was like, do you know what? We'll just put a list of pictures there. So yeah, it is a shame. You guys were there. One of my dad's live reaction to that, and we can believe it, to be honest. But again, if the offer was good, I can understand it. But no, in Luton, it probably weren't even great because let's remember, with add-ons, 10 million for him we paid, which is the most we've ever spent on a player. And overall, I wouldn't say it was worth it. He was decent in games like Derby away last year, unreal. But for me, he didn't warrant that much money, definitely not. But yeah, Lamine 6.5 says Ben. Jackie says 7. Harry's gone with me. He's gone with 6 as well. Yeah, I don't know, Spencer. Did you mean to put all them words in? Honestly, I thought, because obviously I've got the chat on my phone as well. I thought spam had just come in, like they do. But yeah, I don't have to put my chat on slow mode yet. One day I might have to. But yeah, 6 says Spencer. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I totally agree with you, mate. Totally agree with you. I think we said that at the time. Moving on to the next player, Walsh. Again, I don't really like to see him there. If I'm going to be honest, in that more defensive sort of role. I mean, he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't really great. I've seen worse games, but then I've seen better games. So I'll probably just give him a 6. To be quite honest with you, again, another sort of average performance for me. My enter button was stuck. Yeah, that's all right, Spencer, mate. No worries. 6.5 says Ben for Liam Walsh. Jackie says 6. No worries. No worries, Spencer, mate. Don't worry about it. And Harry says 5.5 for Walsh. Moving on we'll go over to Katoa. I thought he was trying. I thought he was one of our better players. And yeah, like I say, that chance where he jumped up for the header where Morris messed it up after, I generally think that could have been another late goal for Katoa. If their player didn't quite get onto it. It was good defending, to be fair, but Morris after that should have squared it towards a penalty spot for me. But yeah, like I say, he was all right, Katoa. He was all right. I'll give it a 6.5. I do feel sorry for him. Like him and Clark in particular and Bramall, they're the main 3 I feel sorry for because I think they are the ones trying. Like 3 of the main players trying. But yeah, it's just not working for him, unfortunately. But let's see what happens with him at the end of the season. Like I say, I don't think he'll be in West Ham's plans. But if we don't go up, I think he can play in the Championship, to be honest. So who knows? But yeah, other ratings. Kadawa 7, says Ben. Harry says 6. Jackie says 7. Spencer says 6. Moving on to Bramall. Again, I felt sorry for him. As soon as he got moved to left back, you can see he wasn't quite the same compared to what he has been recently. Had that shot, not a bad shot. I'll give him a 6.5. I don't really want to be harsh on him going deeper. I know he is traditionally a left back, but with how good he's been, he has said to Wilshere he would like to, be more attacking and things like that. It didn't really help him. So I won't be harsh on him. I'll give him a 6.5 because I still feel he's one of the better players as well. Harry says 6.5 as well. Ben says 7. Jackie says 7. So yeah. And then moving on to, we'll go over to Clark. And Spencer's gone 6.5. Clark was, probably our best player in this game, I'd say. Obviously got the goal. Said to Wilshere after he didn't want to come off. I can understand it. There's a lot of stuff I don't agree with in terms of subs, but I can understand it. But then what I can't understand is, okay, you want to manage his minutes. Totally understand that. But then surely you should manage Naki Wells' minutes, and have him on the bench or, then coming off and things like, yeah, he come off, but it was later on. Do you know what I mean? It's later on. And he's not bringing nothing, whereas Jordan Clark is bringing something. So, yeah, Jordan Clark for me, best player. I'll give him a 7. If I was to give a man a match, it would be him, but I'm not going to. So, yeah, 7 for me. Clark, best player until he went off. Yep, totally agree, Ben, mate. 8 as well. 7.5. Yep, fair enough, mate. And Jackie's gone with the same. Try so hard. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Jackie. And then moving on to Wells. I'm going to give him a 5.5. Had that shot. Poor shot for a striker. I'd expect that type of shot from like a defender, to be quite honest with you. And yeah, he weren't in the game. There was moments Clark was higher up than him, which I just didn't understand. And yeah, I mean, there's a few times I was like, go on, chase him down. But overall, poor yet again, let's be honest. And people say, it seems like he's only here for a paycheck. I mean, you can totally understand why people say that, because you go back to that Port Vale game, he comes on and he's jogging. I think he only had 3 or 4 touches in that game. It's absolutely poor. And when he is getting the chances, he's not burying them. Again, like I've said, the one up front doesn't help, but at the same time, when you're getting the chances, striker that got 10 goals, influential part of Bristol City getting into the playoffs last year, Bristol City fans were gutted to see him go. You should be doing it in this league, and you're not. And I just don't understand some of the stuff Wilshere says about him, like the Mansfield game, saying, he was... I can't even remember what he said. What did he say again? What did he say? He was instrumental or something. And then against Port Vale, he looked sharp. I mean, sharp. The guy's jogging. When Port Vale have it in their defensive area, you've got to try and press them. It's just shocking. Absolutely shocking. So, yeah. Oh, mate. Honestly, guys, it is so poor. So poor. Mate, we've fallen off so much. But yeah, Wells rubbish too, says Jackie. For Wells, says Spencer. Harry also says, I would say Clark man of the match like you, Tyler, if there was one. Exactly, mate. Ben says Wells 3. Spencer give Clark a 7.5. Has to be dropped. Yep, totally agree, mate. But will he be? Probably not. Wells was rubbish. Exactly, mate. And by the way, Spencer, I know obviously you're not a Luton fan, obviously, with Liverpool pitcher, and I know obviously you watch them when Liverpool ain't playing and through me, and you know bits and that. Wells, like I said, was in the Championship last year, obviously league higher. Got 10 goals, was a big part of Bristol City getting playoffs. Can't do nothing for us in the league lower. Clearly, he must be good in training, or like Rob Edwards when he had his favourites. Wells is clearly, yeah, totally agree. He's clearly one of the favourites. So yeah, mate, it's so poor. But yeah, moving on to the subs. Morris, like I say, I thought Morris was all right. I do, other than that chance. So yeah, I'll just give Morris a 6. To be honest, I won't be harsh on him. I still think he was trying. He was winning us corners and I think a few throws at times. So yeah, I will give Morris a 6. Moving on to Yates, he gets a 5.5, same as Wells. Didn't do nothing when he come on. He actually come on for Wells, as he should, in terms of the like for like. But that's where we should have had Nordos. But we didn't. Brown, I'll go slightly higher for Brown. I'll give Brown a 6, even though I still don't think he was great. Did get a yellow card as well. Nelson gets a 5.5 for that cross. And then Saville, do you know what? Saville gets a 6.5 from me. You know, nearly scored to level it. And he should be starting the next game. I mean, let me know in the chat. Do you think he should be starting against Wickham? Or do you think he should come off the bench again? For me, he's got to start. He's got to start in that game. Even if you have him in his one role. But unlikely to do that because I'm not sure if we have done that at home. So, yeah. Morris 6 says Ben, Jackie and Harry. Yates 3 says Ben. Spencer says Morris 6. Yates 4 says Spencer. Harry says 5. Brown 6 says Spencer. Ben says 4. Jackie says 4. Nelson 5 says Ben. Harry says 5.5 for Brown. 6.5 for Saville says Ben. Nelson 5 says Harry. Nelson 3 says Jackie. Saville 6 says Spencer. So does Harry. Probably should start. Yeah, he's got to start. 6 says Jackie. And Harry says 100% Saville and Lamine with Clark in Cam. Yeah, I mean, they are the CDMs, so realistically, we should be going with that, but it probably won't, mate. I believe Clark will be in Cam, but if Saville does play, it'll probably be him and Walsh, to be honest. I think Saville will start now. Naismith's injured. Yeah, I mean, who would you guys want to see at left back as well? Would you want to see Johnson or would you want to see Longwick? I mean, or anyone else? I mean, I would say Bramall, but I just think you're limiting him. You know, you want to see him higher up, don't you? So that's the reason I say to not have him in left back, because I feel that he is more beneficial going forward right now at this moment in time. But yeah, I mean, we are going to wrap up this very shortly. Obviously, we're going slightly longer than an hour. But big up to everyone inside. Ben says Johnson definitely left back. Yeah, Johnson. Yeah, if my dad was on here, he'd definitely be saying that as well. But yeah, we are going to wrap up the Hat Show now. So big up to everyone that's tuned in. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do obviously smash a like on the stream as well if you haven't already, whether you're watching on playback or not. Over 100 views, by the way, and I know people will watch this back on playback as well. So really appreciate that, guys. Good to see the Hat Show's getting more out there to people as well. Because it's not a regular thing, you know, in terms of like, you know, obviously a watch along, a match reaction. Do you know what I mean? It's not one of them that just pop up for everyone. So big up to everyone that does tune in. And yeah, we'll go through the last load of comments before we do wrap up. So comments, yeah, Johnson definitely left back, says Ben. Yeah, I agree, mate. Johnson, Jackie says as well. Yep, please do smash the likes if you haven't already. Yeah, exactly, Spencer. Take care, all. Harry says Joe Johnson, but he'll probably put Bramall there. Yep, probably, mate. But it should be left mid. Well, I'd say left wing, but Wilshere won't because he's too stubborn with this pathetic formation. Exactly. And you're neutral, and even you're getting sick of it. Do you know what I'm saying, by the way you've typed there? It's just a joke, mate. Spencer says, come on, you at us. Absolutely, mate, even though we are not doing nothing, to be honest. And by the way, guys, we do actually have a good record against Wickham, but we had a good record against Reading, unbeaten in the last 6, and we lost. So don't take that into account, unless you want to. But I just don't think it's not a good recommendation from me based on the last 2 years. Great stream, Tyler. Take care, buddy. Peace. Yep, big up to yourself, Ben, mate. Jackie says, I've watched you from the beginning. Yeah, Jackie, you definitely have. I mean, I was watching Hat Shows. Like, you know, when you just watch my old content, see what it's like compared to now. And yeah, you were proper commenting and stuff even back then. So, yep, massive shout out to yourself. Obviously, one of the OGs, if you want to say it like that. Just like the Reds. Yep, pretty much, mate. Pretty much. But at least you're in the top league. And, well, I would say you might still win something. But I don't know, actually. I don't know. I've got to be honest. I mean, unfortunately, out of the League Cup, Premier League, it's very unlikely, let's be honest. Champions League, maybe, because you just got that European record and pedigree. But FA Cup, I don't know, mate. It depends how easy your run is after Barnsley. Because I will say you beat Barnsley. If you're playing a championship team, like, maybe they could do you, but I don't think Barnsley will, to be honest. So, yeah. Me too, says Harry. A lot of day one OGs in here, so fair play to everyone. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
Me too.
Jamie, yeah. Jamie's an OG for a year, if you want to call it like that. Way we defend, I don't think so. No, I don't think you will win the Champions League, but I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool get far in it because, it's what you guys do. You are better in Europe traditionally. Harry says Brewers away on Saturday. Come on. Yeah, so there will be a vlog out tomorrow, guys. I'm going to Stevenage versus Burton Albion. Obviously, I've been to the Burton game before. And obviously, that was against Leighton Orient. The year Luton were in the Premier League. So, yeah, I will be going to watch them tomorrow. So, yeah, do check that vlog out if you are interested. And we will have Harry on it as well. See his thoughts on Burton going into the game and things like that. So, yeah, check that out. I don't know when that'll be out. It'll obviously be out tomorrow, but I'm not too sure when. Maybe the evening, probably. So a few things to sort out after the game as well. Obviously, get back and all that malarkey. So, yeah, man. Spencer says, we'll see. Yep, absolutely, mate. Disappointing our last 5 games. Yep, totally agree, mate. But, yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in. Don't forget to smash a like, subscribe. Do follow me across all my socials. Do subscribe to the Extra channel. And also, when I do upload the vlog tomorrow, it's going to be a little collab post with the Extra channel, like I have on YouTube Shorts, just to, get the Extra channel out there. It's basically extra content, if you get it. So, yeah, that will be there as well. So, yeah, do subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. It is in the description. I believe we're 1 subscriber away from 150 on there as well. So, if we can get to that, that'd be great. So, yeah, that'll be out tomorrow. And then, yeah, the day before Christmas, so Christmas Eve, me and my dad will do a preview to the Wickham game. And right now, there'll probably just be shorts out. But as soon as the January window comes out and there's rumours circulating, there will be T-Boy discusses coming out and they'll be returning for that month. So hopefully we can actually do some business. Do I trust us to do good business? No, I don't. Do I trust it to be a turnaround for us in the season? No, I don't. Right now, hopefully I'm wrong, but on the last 2 years, I'm just not confident at all, guys. So, yeah, big up to Spencer saying come on you at us. Big up to everyone else that's tuned in. Like I say, vlog out tomorrow, 4 neutral games. Do check that out. And yeah, there'll be shorts out throughout the week. And then obviously we've got build up to the Wickham game. And yeah, the Wickham game, I will have a match reaction from that game. I won't be doing a watch along, but I'll be doing a match reaction. So check that out when that comes out. And then obviously there's games coming thick and fast in that period as well. We've got Leighton Orient at home, which I'm not looking forward to based on the last game and based on how we're playing anyway. And then we've got Exeter away on New Year's Day. So them 2 games should be watch alongs, hopefully. But obviously I'll let you guys know nearer the time. So yeah, big up to everyone. Like I say, smash a like, subscribe, follow me across on my socials, subscribe to the Extra channel. Do become a member if you can. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow in the matchday vlog, the neutral vlog. So yeah, until then, take care. Peace.